Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Morning Yoga. I'm Micki, and welcome to my garage studio. This is I call it the So Fine Studio. So let's go ahead and get started today. Come to a seated position. So you can come to any kind of comfortable seat, maybe cross-legged, or sometimes I like to sit up in a supported hero's pose on some blocks. So if you have blocks, that will be helpful. And Luna is joining us. Morning, Luna, for yoga today. If you also have a blanket, that could be helpful too. You can scooch a blanket right underneath your seat, and that can help prop you up a little bit and help lengthen your spine. So we'll come into any kind of comfortable seat. You can start to close down the eyes and just start to come into an awareness of your breath. Start to arrive into your space. You might close down the eyes or soften the gaze. Start to lengthen the spine, allowing the crown of the head to reach up towards the sky. And if you have a sense that there is an intention for your practice this morning, go ahead and bring that intention to mind. You might allow the intention to plant itself at your heart center. Maybe this intention is something you'd like to cultivate in your life, or perhaps something you'd like to release. And go ahead and invite your hands to meet at your heart center. And with your next exhale, allow your head to humbly bow towards the wisdom of your heart. And then we'll gently blink the eyes open. And you can plant your hands on your knees, and we'll inhale to roll the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale, allow them to cascade down the back. Go ahead and take a few rounds here, inhaling the shoulders up and exhaling to roll them back and down. And I always like to invite you to just become aware of the sensations and just know that anything that's arising for you is okay, and you can modify anything to best suit your own needs today. And just finding those places that need extra attention, allowing yourself compassion and curiosity. And then you might begin to alternate one shoulder at a time. Just noticing the length that you can create from the top of one shoulder down towards the opposite shoulder blade. So imagining that crisscross, finding length. And then we'll go ahead and reverse the direction. So bringing the shoulders up from behind, one at a time, alternating side to side. Now we'll go ahead, we'll take one more motion and then go ahead and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Draw the shoulders up from behind and down around in front. Take a few rounds in this direction. And just like Luna the cat, finding and exploring with curiosity. And then we'll come back to stillness, and you can press the palms out wide to the side, imagining you're pressing the walls away. And then we'll fan the fingers out wide to the side, pressing the palms towards the front of the room. And go ahead and rotate the right thumb down towards the ground, and you can slide that hand around to rest at your low back. And then we'll bring the opposite hand up and over, drawing the left ear towards the shoulder. You can just allow the weight of the hand to rest on the side of the temple. You might take a moment to massage the side of the temple here. And just find length through the right side of the neck. You might explore the position of your chin, maybe allowing the chin to stretch up towards the sky. Or on your next breath, you might rotate the chin down towards the shoulder. You might inhale, allowing the chin to come back up towards the sky. And then exhale, rotate the chin down towards the shoulder. Go ahead and take one more round at your own pace. And with your next inhale, we'll come back to center, spreading the arms wide, once more pressing the palms away. And then go ahead and make fists with the hands, and we'll point the knuckles up towards the sky and then rotate them down towards the ground, finding a stretch through the outside, maybe the forearms. All along the outside of the arms. A few more times, rotate the knuckles up and down. And then again, we'll open the palms wide to the side. This time, rotate the left thumb down towards the ground. You can slide that hand around behind you, and then allow the right ear to fall towards the right shoulder. And you might just allow the weight of the hand to rest on the temple. Maybe finding a gentle massage for the temple and a stretch for the left side of the neck. On your inhale, rotating the chin up towards the sky. And then exhale, allow the chin to rotate down towards the shoulder. You can take 2 more rounds if this feels good. Inhaling to reach the chin up and exhaling to rotate it down. And we'll take one more nice deep breath, allowing the breath to cascade down the left side of the neck. And then on your next inhale, you can go ahead and release that, coming back to neutral. Let's go ahead and reverse the cross of our legs. So you can switch out the cross if you're sitting cross-legged. And we're going to take a few rounds of cat and cow in a seated position. So inhale to reach the heart forward. Exhale to round the spine back. Go ahead and take a few rounds at your own pace. If it feels good in one particular position, you might hold that spot for a breath. And then we'll go ahead and find some different movement here. Go ahead and come back to neutral, and then we'll spin the chest around, moving the heart forward, sliding it back, and just making nice big circles with the heart. After your next round, go ahead and reverse the direction of your circle. Allowing the heart to lead in all directions. And we'll come back to neutral. And let's go ahead and reverse, switch the cross of the legs once more. We'll inhale to reach the arms up overhead. And then exhale, bring the right hand down next to your side, plant the palm, and reach the left fingertips up and over. You might look up towards your lifted hand. Then on your next exhale, allow the left fingertips to drip down towards the ground. You might follow your fingertips with your gaze and then inhale. Reach the left hand back up and over. Exhale, sweep it down and around. And let's take one more sweep in this direction. And then on your next inhale, we'll rise to center. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up towards the sky. And then on your next exhale, allow the hands to gently and slowly float down in front. Noticing the sensations in the shoulders. And one more time, we're going to switch out the cross of our legs. And then get ready for the other side. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, plant the left hand, reaching the right fingertips up and over. Kitty, kitty. With your next exhale, you can float the right fingertips down towards the ground. And then following the fingertips with your gaze, we'll inhale to reach it up and over. You can take 3 more rounds just like this at your own pace. And after your last round, whenever you're ready, we'll inhale to rise to center. You might interlace the fingers the opposite way or the awkward way. Press the palms up towards the sky. And then allow your palms to gently fall down in front. With your next exhale, we'll come into a tabletop position. If you're on a hard floor, or you don't have a very cushy mat, if you have a blanket nearby, you might go ahead and pad underneath your knees, giving yourself a little extra support and lift. From here, we're going to bring the big toes to touch, open the knees up wide to the sides, and then sink the hips back as you walk the hands out in front for child's pose. Allowing the forehead to rest on the mat. Allowing yourself to relax all effort. If your forehead doesn't quite reach the mat, you could stack the palms and allow your forehead to rest on the back of your palms. We're gonna get ready for a side stretch here. So you can press yourself up onto your palms and then walk your hands over to the right, reaching the left arm long and maybe sending the left temple towards the mat and your gaze underneath your right shoulder. Imagine you could reach your left fingertips away from your left hip. And then allow the breath to cascade down the left side body. And we'll go ahead and walk it over to the left now, reaching the right hand away from the right hip, rotating the gaze underneath the left armpit, allowing the right temple to rest. Allow the breath like a wave of an ocean, cascading down the right side of the body. And then when you're ready, you can walk the hands back to center. And we'll come up into all fours, tabletop position. On your next inhale, go ahead and lower the belly, reaching the heart through the forearms. For cow pose. And then exhale to round, drawing the belly towards the spine to come into cat. You can take a few rounds of cat and cow. And just following the pace of your own breath. After your next round, you might start to draw a big circle with the belly button, stretching into all the different places that the spine can move. Imagining you're tracing the inside of a hula hoop. Just allow yourself to explore this movement. And you might take a moment to offer gratitude to your spine that can move in all these different directions. And then we'll reverse the direction of our circle. If you find any places of interest that you'd like to hold for a breath, just taking it at your own pace. Go ahead and take one more round in this direction, and then we'll meet up in a neutral spine. Let's come onto the forearms now. You can lower down onto the forearms. You can either have your palms flat on the mat, or you can interlace your fingers. We're going to stretch the left leg back with the toes tucked under. And just allow your heel to press towards the mat, finding length through the back of the leg, stretching through the calf. Sending a deep breath down the back of the leg, all the way to the heel. And if you'd like, you can stay right here, or you might cross the left foot over to the right. Maybe send the gaze over towards that left heel on the right side. She normally doesn't get to be in here, so she's very excited about it. You might even walk the hands over to the right. Just find a nice side body stretch here. And then we'll come back to neutral, returning the left knee to the mat. Let's tuck the right toes under now. Press the right foot back. Press the heel towards the mat. Finding length through the back of the right calf. And you can stay right here, or if you want, you could step the right foot over to the left. Send the gaze over the left shoulder towards the right heel. You might even walk the hands over to the left, finding a gentle side body stretch. And then we'll come back to neutral, and let's come back to hands and knees. And for our next move, we're going to bring the right hand to rest behind the ear. And then you can inhale to open the elbow up towards the sky. On your next exhale, draw the elbow towards the left wrist. And then inhale to swivel the elbow up towards the sky, looking up. Exhale, bringing the elbow down towards the wrist. And once more, inhale to lift the elbow up towards the sky. And this time you can reach the fingertips up. And on the next exhale, we're going to thread the needle, bringing the right hand under the body. You can roll onto the right shoulder, rest the temple. You might bring the knees a little wide to the side like child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch. And you can either support your weight with your left palm, or you could walk the left fingertips out in front like child's pose, or maybe you want to spin the left hand around and allow it to gently rest at the low back, maybe on the sacrum, or perhaps reaching it towards the right thigh. Just allow yourself to settle in here. And with your next exhale, if your hand is resting at your low back, you can release it down towards the ground. We'll plant it underneath the left shoulder. And then inhale to sweep the right hand up towards the sky. And we'll exhale to release that side. We're going to get ready for the opposite side now. So go ahead and bring your left hands to your ear. And you can inhale to open the elbow up towards the sky, looking up. Exhale to bring the elbow down towards the wrist, the right wrist. Inhale, sweep it open. And exhale, draw the elbow towards the wrist. And one more time, inhale the elbow open. And this time we'll point the fingers, the left fingers, up towards the sky, looking up. And then exhale, allow the hand to sweep underneath the body. We're going to thread the needle through, and I like to make my knees a little wide like child's pose here, landing on the left shoulder, allowing the temple to rest, and maybe supporting your weight with your right hand. If you open up your knees wide to the sides like child's pose, you might feel a little more stability here. You might walk your right fingers out in front like child's pose, or maybe spin the hand around and allow it to gently rest at the low back. You might notice subtle differences from left to right. Just allowing yourself to soften all effort. Allowing yourself compassion and curiosity. And we'll take one more nice deep breath here. And with your next exhale, you can allow your hand to slide off of your low back. Put the right palm on the mat. Pressing into the right palm, we'll inhale to lift the left arm up towards the sky. On your next exhale, you can release that side. And then we'll come back to tabletop, so you can slide the knees back underneath the hips. And then go ahead and walk the feet back, or walk the hips back so your toes are tucked under. This is a nice gentle stretch, or maybe even an intense stretch for your undersides of your feet. If this is too intense, you can bring blocks, or you could even stay on your palms. So we'll just take a moment to stretch the undersides of the feet here. This is actually called broken toe pose, so maybe it's not so gentle after all. We're going to come up to a forward fold, so you can get there however you like, but maybe you come back to lifting the knees and then lower the heels down and bend forward. You can walk the heels and the feet underneath the hips and just allow yourself to hang heavy. Maybe wrap your arms around your opposite elbows. Allow yourself to dangle. Just rock side to side. On your next exhale, you can release your hands. And then if you have a blanket on your mat, go ahead and move it off to the side. If you have blocks, you can place the blocks underneath the palms. We'll press into the blocks and inhale to lift halfway. If you don't have blocks, you can always plant your palms on your shins or your upper thighs. We're reaching with a flat back, with the crown of the head reaching towards the wall in front of you. On your next exhale, we'll forward fold, and then you can generously bend into your knees and roll the spine up, one vertebrae at a time. On your next inhale, we'll reach the arms up overhead, and then exhale to draw the hands to the heart center. Inhale to reach the arms up, looking up, and exhale to draw the hands to the heart center. And then inhale to reach the arms up overhead. This time you can wrap your right fingers around your left wrist and start to arc over to the right. Maybe sending the gaze down beside you or up underneath the hands. We'll come back to center and reach the fingertips towards the sky, and then wrap the left fingertips around the right wrist and reach over, arcing over to the left. Inhale to come back to center, and then exhale, draw the elbows down into goalpost arms or cactus arms. You might exhale through the mouth, sticking out the tongue for a lion's breath. And then we'll inhale to reach the arms back up overhead, and exhale to bring the hands to heart center. Go ahead and close down the eyes here, taking a moment to revisit your intention for your practice today. And then you can release your hands to your sides, opening your eyes, We're gonna get ready for warrior one. So if you're at the back of your mat, you can go ahead and step your right foot forward. And I'm just moving these blocks out of the way. You don't need to hold on to the blocks. So your back foot is pivoting out at a 45-degree angle, your left foot. And then your right foot is right in front of, you can see your toes right under past your knee. So you can bend into the knee, bringing your hands to your hips. And then if you feel like it, you can inhale to float the arms up. If that's too much on the shoulder, you might bring the hands to the heart center or keep the hands at the hips. From here, if your arms are lifted, on the next exhale, go ahead and float the hands back, reaching the heart forward. We'll inhale to rise to center, lifting the arms, lifting the gaze. And then exhale, lowering the heart, flying the hands back. Inhale to rise to center. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and float the hands behind you. And you can either grab hold of the bottom edge of your shirt, or you can interlace your fingers and allow them to rest at the low back. On the next exhale, go ahead and allow the heart to melt forward to come into humble warrior. So you can allow the torso to rest on the thigh. You can keep the hands resting on your shirt or interlaced at your low back, or you might allow the fingertips to reach overhead, lengthening the arms to straight. On the next exhale, we'll lower the hands back down to the sacrum, bring the hands to the hips, and then you can bring the hands out in front or maybe on your blocks, and we'll step the left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale here for halfway lift, bringing the hands onto blocks or onto the shins. And exhale to forward fold. Go ahead and take 2 more rounds of halfway lift and forward fold. So with your inhale, you're lifting halfway, extending the spine long. And exhale, let it all go into a forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. And then whenever you're ready, you can bend the knees generously and sweep the arms up to come to stand, and exhale to bring the hands to the heart center. Since we're at the front of our mat now, let's just come into a gentle mountain pose. So allow your feet to root down, and then allow the palms to face forward. Melt the shoulders down the back. You can either keep a soft gaze or close the eyes. We're going to get ready for that same warrior one flow on the opposite side. So you can bring your hands to your hips. And this time we'll be stepping our right foot back. So you can bend into the left knee, allowing the knee to track towards the toes. And your back foot is at 45 degrees. You can either leave your hands on your hips, bring your hands to your heart center, or you might inhale to float the arms up overhead. Maybe gently gaze upward. On your next exhale, we'll tip the torso forward and fly the hands back. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, floating the torso forward, flying the hands back. And inhaling to come back up to warrior one or whichever variation with the arms you'd like. And then on your next exhale, you can float the hands behind you. And this time you might interlace the fingers the opposite way, or feel free if that doesn't quite work to grab hold of the bottom edge of your shirt. And with your next exhale, you can allow the torso to float forward and rest on the thigh. Allow the head to dangle. And if you'd like, you might allow the arms to lengthen, maybe the fingertips to float overhead. For humble warrior. With your next exhale, we'll let the hands come back down. You can release the fingers and then bring the hands forward to your blocks or your mat. And we'll step the right foot forward to meet the left. Allow yourself to hang heavy and maybe interlace the hands around opposite elbows. You can just allow yourself to dangle from side to side. On your next exhale, go ahead and release the cross of your arms. We'll inhale for halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. On your next inhale, you can sweep the arms up overhead to come to stand. And exhale to draw the hands to heart center. Let's release the hands down at our sides and stay for a mountain pose. We're going to get ready for a balancing pose next. And there's lots of different variations here, so you can feel free to explore and find what works best for you. So let's start by, we're going to come into eagle pose, but I'll give you lots of different modifications. I'm going to step back on my mat so you can see me. Right, Luna? Let's reach the arms out wide to the side, and then go ahead and bring the right arm over the top of the left and give yourself a nice big hug. So your hands are resting on your top. Your right hand is on your left shoulder. Your left hand is maybe down towards your shoulder blade. And just offer yourself some love and gratitude for showing up for yourself this morning. You might take a moment to revisit your intention. And just maybe even imagine the person that you're not able to hug right now. Give yourself a nice big hug. Give them back a hug. You might send this practice as a dedication to someone you can't be with right now. Now you could leave your hands in this hug position, or for eagle arms, what you would do is wrap your arms around each other. So you'd be bringing your right arm is on top, and you're wrapping your left fingertips around your right with that forearm. Now, with your next exhale, bend into the knees as if you're coming into a chair. So this is kind of like a chair pose. Now, you can always stay right here in your chair, or if you'd like to explore balance, you might send your weight into your right leg and just come onto the ball of your left toes. From here, you might lift the left leg and wrap it around the right leg. And this is going to be a lot easier. I shouldn't say easier really, but if you find sort of a gentle, soft gaze on a fixed point, with your next inhale, we'll rise to center and release that. And just allow it to shake off, bringing the feet as wide as your mat and gently allowing the arms to graze your sides. Letting it go. Just noticing that we're exploring balance. Balance is not a fixed place, but a movement. And we'll come back to center. And we'll get ready for the other side. So open your arms out wide to the side, and then imagine someone you want to give a big hug to, yourself or someone else. This time we're going to wrap the left arm over the top of the right. So left hand comes to the right shoulder, right fingertips might be just on the left shoulder blade, reaching towards it. And just offer yourself loving kindness, giving yourself a big hug. You might close down the eyes. Find another person in your life that you'd like to give a hug to. And if you'd like to wrap your arms for eagle arms, you can release the hug or you can stay just like that. You're going to wrap the right fingertips maybe onto the left palm, and then you can just sink into your chair, bringing your sit bones back, imagining there's a chair right behind you, engaging the core, drawing the belly towards the spine. And if you'd like to explore balance on this side, you can send the weight into the left leg and maybe lift the right heel up. Maybe this is where you want to land. If you'd like to explore balance a little more, you could lift the right leg and wrap it around the left leg. Taking some deep breaths. Noticing where you can soften your effort and balance it with your ease. On the next inhale, we'll rise to center, step it out wide, and shake it off. Letting it go and leaving it in the past. Coming into the present moment, allowing your arms to graze your sides. And we'll go ahead and make our way down to our mat however you'd like. You might inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to gently swan dive forward. Maybe you plant the palms out in front, walking into a downward dog, and then gently lower the knees down onto the mat. We'll walk our knees forward and come onto our seat. So from here, let's plant the palms behind us with the fingers facing towards the sit bones. And you can keep the knees lifted towards the sky. And with your next inhale, we'll press into the palms and lift the hips up towards the sky for altar pose. You might send the gaze towards your navel, up towards the sky, or allow it to fall back behind you. On the next exhale, go ahead and lower the hips back down, and then we'll sweep the knees to the right, wrapping the left hand around. You can prop yourself up on your right hand behind you for a twist. Take a few deep breaths here. And then on the next inhale, we'll float the arms over and bring the knees over to the left. Plant the left hand behind you, the right hand on your right knee, and you can gaze back. And we'll come back to center with the knees pointing up towards the sky, you can reach the arms out in front. And then very gradually, very gently, allow yourself to roll back down. You might pause periodically, engaging the core. And then we'll land on the back whenever you're ready. You can walk the heels in towards the sit bones. And then on your next inhale, you might lift the hips to come into a bridge. Maybe walking the hands underneath the body, interlacing the fingers behind you, and taking a few rounds of breath here. On the next exhale, you can release the hands, lowering onto the back. And then we'll draw the knees up into the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. And you might walk the hands up to the ankles or the knife edge of the foot, drawing the knees towards the armpits for happy baby pose. And maybe here you gently rock a little side to side, exploring movement. Might feel good to stretch one leg long and then rock over to the opposite side, stretching the opposite leg long. And then whenever you're ready, you can release the feet down. And with the knees pointing up towards the sky, go ahead and cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And you can stay right here, or if you'd like to deepen the stretch, you can draw the shape into the body. You might interlace the hands behind the back of the right thigh. And if you have a strap, it might make it a little easier to wrap a strap behind the back of the right thigh and draw the shape into the body. Really, any prop will work for this. So maybe a towel, t-shirt, the strap of a bathrobe, allowing the shoulders to soften. Just feeling that nice stretch on the outside of the left hip. Whenever you're ready, you can release that side, bringing both feet back to the mat. Take a moment to pause and just notice the differences from left to right. And then when you're ready, you can cross that right ankle over the left knee. And you might even feel enough sensation right here. Another option would be to wrap a strap underneath the back of the left thigh. And then cross it over. And maybe to deepen the stretch, you draw the shape into the body, either interlacing the hands behind the back of the left thigh, or maybe using a strap, a towel. You might notice subtle variations from left to right. Sending nice deep breaths to the outer edge of the right hip. Softening your shoulders down. And feel free to stay in this shape for as many breaths as works for you. Whenever you're ready, you can release that side. We're going to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. But since this is your very own practice, feel free to explore any other poses that you feel you'd like to take before your final rest. If you're ready for Shavasana, you can lengthen your legs long, allow your arms to gently rest at your sides. You might cozy up with socks or a blanket, maybe. If your toes are cold, you could put a blanket just over your feet or over your whole body. You might find that resting something over the eyes, if you had like a fancy little eye pillow, or maybe even a t-shirt or a strap, something to block the light. So make yourself nice and cozy. And then just allow yourself to relax all effort. Starting with the forehead, you can soften the space of the third eye. Notice if you can release any holding from the eyelids. Allow yourself to release the hinge of the jaw. You can allow the shoulders to melt down towards the ground. And then imagining the body is held by the strength of the earth. Feel the resources, the abundance, the solid ground rising to support you, supporting all of your efforts. And since this is your very own practice, I would encourage you to stay as long as you'd like in this final resting pose, Shavasana, corpse pose. But if you're ready to begin to reawaken the body, you can start to invite gentle movement into your fingers and toes, gently rotating your wrists and your ankles. With your next inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, finding a good morning stretch. And then with your next exhale, you might walk the feet in, shifting over to one side, finding a fetal position, allowing your head to rest on your biceps. Give yourself a moment to rest for a few rounds of breath in this fetal position. And then whenever you're ready, you can use the strength of your arms to press yourself up into a seat, coming into an easy pose, Sukhasana, seated pose. With your next inhale, float the arms up overhead, bringing in the light to the heart center, inviting the hands to meet up at the heart. You can humbly bow your head towards the wisdom of your loving heart. Thanks everyone so much for allowing me this opportunity to guide you through your practice this morning. Namaste.